Good morning, students. Welcome again after summer vacation. I hope you all were enjoyed your summer vacation. So, today we will start the chapter number 10, Colonialism, Rural and Tribal Society. In previous lecture, that is chapter number 9, we already discussed about the establishment of East Indian Company's rule in India. You know, Britishers came as traders and become our masters, and slowly they conquered India from south to east and then headed towards the north. My dear students, we have already discussed about the different battles in chapter number 9, like Anglo-Maratha War, Anglo-Sikh War, Anglo-Mysore War, how the Britishers were conquered the Bengal. Already we have discussed. But in this chapter, chapter number 10, we will discuss how different British policy destroyed and shattered that traditional self-sufficient rural economy. So, in chapter number 10, first of all, you should know the meaning of colonialism. Colonialism means the practice by which a powerful country controls another country or countries in order to become rich. In simple way, we can say the colonialism is the act of one nation controlling another for economic gain. For example, colonialism was England's control over India. You know very well, India was controlled by the Britain, and India became the colony of England before the 1947 when Britishers conquered India. Now, rural and tribal society. Rural society means society that lives in village and is dependent on natural environment. Means those people who live in rural or village, they are generally dependent on agriculture. Tribals means a group or community with similar ancestors, customs and tradition, and generally tribals peoples live in forest. I hope you all understand the colonialism, rural and tribal society. Before the coming of the East Indian Company, the rural life in India was very simple and self-sufficient. What do you mean by the self-sufficient? Self-sufficient means people who live in rural areas are able to produce or provide everything that you need without help from others. Means the peoples who live in rural areas, they are not dependent on others. So the British brought many changes, especially in the field of land revenue system. What do you mean by revenue? Revenue means money regularly received by a government or company. If we are talking about the land revenue means tax on agriculture, production on land. So land revenue became the biggest source of income for the company. Here we will discuss about the 3 land revenue settlements, and my dear students, it's very important for you these 3 land revenue settlements, because these land revenue settlements were very important for the exam purpose. So 3 land revenue system. First one is the Zamindari system, second one is the Yatwari system, and third one is Mahalwari system. Now I will tell you about these 3 revenue system one by one. First of all, Zamindari system or the permanent revenue system. The Zamindari system was introduced by Lord Cornwallis in 1793 in Bengal. Zamindari system is also known as permanent revenue system, was introduced by Lord Cornwallis in 1793 in Bengal. In this system, zamindari system was made a hereditary right of the zamindars under the permanent settlements. Actually, the zamindar became the owner of the land and they were forced to pay 89% of the total revenue to the British government. Means Britishers were forced as zamindar to pay 89% of the total revenue to the British government, and their own share, means zamindars have their own share was 11%. So that was the main point. 89% of the total revenue have to pay to the British government and their own share was 11%. This system gave birth to a new class of landlord and they have the immense power. Means zamindar had the power to evict any cultivators of the soil due to non-payment of revenue. Means if any farmers were not able to pay the revenue, zamindar had the power to evict, means remove from their land, and in this situation the cultivator became the landless labor. Now, Raiyatwadi system. Second one is Raiyatwadi system. Raiyat means farmer or cultivator. Raiyatwadi system was introduced in South India and West India by Thomas Munro in 1820. Raiyatwadi system was introduced by Thomas Munro in 1820 in South India as well as West India also. This system established a direct settlements between the government, British government and the Raiyats. Raiyats means cultivators. Means in this system there was no role of zamindar. That's why we are saying there were direct system or direct settlements between the government and the Raiyats. And of course, the revenue was directly collected from the cultivators and revenue was very high. So this is all about the Raiyatwadi system. Now, the third revenue system is Mahalwadi system. The Mahalwadi system was introduced by the Holt Mackenzie in 1822 in Gangetic Valley, Northwest provinces, Central India and Punjab. The Mahalwadi system was introduced by the Holt Mackenzie in 1822. Now, in this system, a collective settlement was made with a group of villages called Mahal. Why it is known as Mahalwadi system? Because in this system, a group of villages were responsible to pay the taxes. So this group of villages were known as Mahal. That's why it is known as Mahalwadi system. As I said, that group of villages are responsible for the payment of land revenue because the land, the forest and the pastures belong to the village community. That's why the Mahal means group of villages were responsible for the paying the taxes or revenue. The Mahalwadi system proved to be a curse for the peasants in the form of impoverishment. Impoverishment means slowly the farmers became poor. Eviction from land means if any farmers were not able to pay the taxes or revenue, they were removed from their land and the farmers became the landless. And of course, exploitation at the hands of the money lenders. So that was the Mahalwadi system. I hope you all understood about the three revenue system: Zamindari system, Mahalwadi system, and Raiyatwadi system. Thank you and have a nice day.